I'm kind of at a loss for words talking to you, which shows the level of my devotion. And it isn't about this. Forgive me. When you wake up in the morning wearing that long leather New York coat and nothing else except the shoes, and you walk out in that stunning, brisk, you can feel the air and the music. I'm not gay, but I have to tell you.
Okay. Questions.
And this is my wife, so she can attest to that. When you put the glasses down, pulling away from the house that's being demolished.
We just saw this picture. I hadn't seen it for years, and we screened it 2 weeks ago, and I'd forgotten how beautiful it looked. Because when you're in stuff, you don't see it. You don't really watch it.
Do you remember that? It really captures the time. It captures the weather. I mean, it was a fantastic film, and your acting is fantastic. I mean,
we just had a ball, We had a ball, and it was the first thing that we'd ever done.
Really?
It was your
first movie we'd ever done.
Oh my goodness!
I know it was
Richard's, mine, Ralph, the guy who plays the drug dealer, never done a picture. So I think.
And his first film as a director, Robinson.
He'd never directed. So none of us really knew what we were doing.
But it's...
so we're just like...
It's such a... I'm sorry to blather. It's such a heartfelt film when it's ostensibly about such an eccentric group of guys that
It's a very tender film.
At the very end, we were both teary-eyed because when he basically has to leave his friend behind, when he says bye to Withnail, and he's cut his hair. Your haircut is fantastic. It's such a human emotion. It's really great.
I think part of the reason why it's endured is because most of us have met somebody like that.
Same here.
We come across perhaps a brilliant waster, or somebody that's not going to hang on, they're talented. Or there's a brief episode in our lives, when we have to walk away from someone. So everyone understands it. Or perhaps we lived like that briefly as students or as kids. So there's something in the picture for everybody.
I think you're right.
But when I watched it again last week, I thought it was like a marriage. It was a kind of it could be a strange.
Did you, looking back on it 25 years later, does it seem alien to you, or do you remember, hey, I'm there and that?
It's difficult to watch things that you're in objectively, without thinking, oh God, yeah, remember that day we did this. It's like looking at holiday photos or something, because you just remember what was going on at the time. But this time it was easier. I think perhaps with the distance, 20-odd years.
Are you in touch with Robinson or Grant or?
I see them once a year, maybe. Robinson lives in isolation now, in the hills. It's what he wants.
And Uncle Monty just died, I think, last year. And those scenes are...
He is brilliant.
The way he uses language?
Yeah, he really anchors the thing, because he had experience. So, none of us had any, but we could look to him. And he sent us the whole thing.
Well, the next morning when the light and the claret and the whole place seems to rise up with his presence.
And that was how it was meant to be. The film cameraman shot those scenes. They even used different film styles. When he was there, and you had the Charlie Coons music playing, then it was meant to be the 30s or the 40s or whatever it was.
Right.
So it was warm, it's a fire.
Right.
It's music. The light goes up 2 notches. Everything warms up. It was deliberate, and it works. And some you kind of go,
well,
and he played it beautifully and tender. Beautiful. No, I loved it. It was great to see.
But thank you. You've been told that a million times, but thank you so much for that experience, which makes us feel like we're more alive because you were.
So kind of you.
Thank you very much.
Really kind of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
And your family, all the stuff I've read about you, your family is also actors and...
Yeah, all my brothers are actors. There's 4 of us. Sometimes it can get a little bit intense. And there's only 4 years between us. So often you get mistaken for one of the others and you take the credit or the blame, incidentally, for stuff that they've done.
We wanted to get your episode not only because of this, but because we're looking for the last little taste of I that we can get, and you're there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
obviously you would be there, but
Oh, yeah.
that character is there moment to moment. The way your rhythm of speech, which may be your rhythm of speech, but we identify it with Marwood. Anyway, before we melt, this is Marisol. I'm Jeff. If I could trouble you.